Welcome to today's briefing. We are not here to rehash headlines. Our mission, strategic intelligence, the kind that redefines power dynamics and shifts the narrative. Today, we will explore how nations are navigating through the complexities of the 21st century with sovereignty as their strategic anchor. Today, we turn our attention to Mexico's approach to international relations. It's a case study on how a nation can leverage its own strengths to exert global influence. In an era of interconnectedness, how can a nation maintain its sovereignty while actively engaging on the world stage? It's a question that goes to the heart of national identity and demands a strategic approach to diplomacy and international affairs. Today, we look at how Mexico is forging its own path and leveraging its resources and strengthening its internal structures rather than bowing to external pressure. Let's take a look at official narratives versus the strategic realities. The relationship between Mexico and the United States has always been complex, often defined by the power imbalance between the two. However, in recent times, Mexico has begun to redefine this dynamic. Let's begin by examining the official narratives coming out of both countries. We've seen pronouncements from the United States about trade deficits, border security, and the fight against drug trafficking. These narratives often frame Mexico as a subordinate that needs guidance or that needs some sort of strategic oversight. We see this in the U.S. Department of Justice's call for the total elimination of drug cartels in a statement that implies potential intervention. When we dig deeper, using historical context, diplomatic insights, and strategic analysis, a different picture emerges. Mexico's president has responded directly to the United States rhetoric, stating, "Let them start in their own country," highlighting the fact that the drug problem, is not only a Mexican issue. It goes far beyond this. This is a crucial point. It showcases the shift from passively reacting to narratives to actively challenging them. Looking at the history of the U.S.-Mexico relationship, we understand that Mexico's firm stance is now a strategic move, asserting its sovereignty and rejecting the idea of subordination. Mexico is now focused on collaboration and coordination based on mutual respect. Let's examine how Mexico's strategic use of sovereignty is playing out in various domains. First, consider trade. The United States has raised concerns about its trade deficit with Mexico and has threatened tariffs. However, instead of capitulating, Mexico has asserted the mutual benefit of the USMCA trade agreement, the very agreement that Donald Trump, President of the United States, signed once upon a time. They are using the agreement as a framework for negotiations, demonstrating that they are an equal partner, not just a supplier. Mexico's approach to trade is not about subordination, but about maximizing mutual benefit. They focus on the fact that Mexico is a major partner, and the collaboration will help both nations compete more effectively with other economic powers. It also focuses on promoting internal production and the Hecho en Mexico brand, ensuring that growth is tied to the prosperity of the Mexican people, not just their trade partners. This assertive stance extends to security matters as well. While the U.S. has been pushing for a more aggressive approach to drug trafficking, Mexico is emphasizing the need to address the root causes of the problem. Mexico's president highlighted that the issue is not just about stopping the flow of drugs, but about the flow of weapons from the United States into Mexico. They are also advocating for a focus on public health and the issue of addiction, not just criminalization. This approach is yet another example of using sovereignty as a strategic tool. Mexico is not simply reacting to U.S. demands. They are defining the terms of the discussion by pointing out their own domestic concerns and areas of U.S. accountability. By framing the discussion this way, Mexico is not only defending its sovereignty, but it is also creating an environment where collaboration is built on genuine partnership. Mexico has established a permanent dialogue with the United States. It is emphasizing that the relationship should be characterized by shared responsibility, mutual trust, and a respect for sovereignty. So let's take a look at narrative control and global influence. Now let's move to the area of narrative control. How is Mexico managing its global image? Mexico is now using public statements to portray themselves as an independent, capable nation who is willing to engage in dialogue without submitting to external pressure. Mexico's government has also made it a point to highlight its humanitarian approach to migration, where they welcome their citizens who are returning home with open arms in their program called México Te Abraza. They are also supporting their citizens who are abroad, providing legal and consular assistance. By controlling these narratives, Mexico is projecting an image of stability, strength, and independence. Beyond its relationship with the United States, Mexico is also actively engaging with other nations in Latin America. It is strengthening its relationships and solidarity with these nations. They are using their influence to support regional cooperation in the area of migration. This too is reflecting a sophisticated multilateral approach to international affairs, which strengthens Mexico's influence and ability to act independently from any single superpower. As I've said before, Claudia is on fire. Let's take a look at the lessons for the world stage. So what can other nations learn from Mexico's approach? Define your narrative. Don't let others define you. Actively shape the stories that are told about your nation. Point 2, leverage your strengths. Focus on your unique resources and capabilities and use them to your advantage in negotiations. Point 3, prioritize internal development. Strengthen your internal economy and social structures to reduce dependence on external forces. Point 4, multilaterally build alliances with multiple partners to broaden your influence and reduce vulnerability. Point 5, demand respect. Insist on a relationship that is based on mutual respect and genuine collaboration. Mexico's approach is not just about its own success. It's a blueprint for other nations seeking to navigate a complex and rapidly changing world. It's about understanding that sovereignty is not an abstract concept, but a strategic tool that nations can use to assert their interests and shape the global order. By focusing on their strengths, controlling their narrative, and maintaining their independence, nations can become influential actors on the global stage. This has been a strategic briefing, a case study of Mexico's recent diplomatic strategy, illustrating the power of strategic sovereignty. It is a reminder that in the 21st century, true power lies not just in military might or economic dominance, but in the ability to define your own path, control your narrative, and engage with the world as an equal. We appreciate you for joining us. Make sure you follow, make sure you share, and we'll see you next time on the Embassy File.